Let's talk a little bit about frequency. All right, so we talked about repatterning ourselves through our expectations, right? So here's how your energy vortex, your emotional vortex works in terms of what it draws into your experiences. And so anything below, anything 250 and below, has you in a place of, what's the word I want? Effect. So you're basically in effect of your environment, which means your environment is running you. It's like the tail wagging the dog. Okay? So when we go back to Emoto's experiment and we look at water creating the energy in our bodies, which creates the energy in our minds, etc. This diagram actually comes out of a book by David Hawkins called Power versus Force. So you might want to read that book. And so what he postulates is that every emotion has a vibration. And that vibration that attracts to you experiences. And those experiences can be people, can be circumstances, can be your environment, the responses and reactions you get. It's all based on energy. So anything from neutrality down means that you are in effect of your environment instead of being a cause. Anything from neutrality and up means that you're a cause. So basically what that says is that when you are in effect, then you're unconsciously attracting to you your experiences. When you are a cause, bless you, when you are a cause, then you are consciously attracting to you your experiences. So when you're consciously attracting your experiences to you, then you can choose what you attract. When you're unconsciously attracting your experiences, then it's like life is happening to you, and you feel like a victim. You feel powerless. You feel like you're on the treadmill of life, and that you can't be, you can't do, and you can't have what you want to be, do, and have. So this is the first step to being successful in any business environment, is you need to get into a place of cause. Because most people around you are not. You know, most people are in effect of their lives, and they're looking for the answers. And the more we shift as a humanity, the more people are going to be freaking out looking for the answers. Because most people have been taught all their lives through multiple generations that they cannot have what the next person has, that they cannot be as good as the next person, that they cannot excel as well as the next guy. That programming has run its course, really. It's come to a dead end. But it's still sitting in the DNA of a lot of people. So imagine, you know, as we reach for higher vibrations, imagine what that's like when that starts to flush out. People start to freak out. That's why people freak out. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So if you have, like, you know what it's like when you reach for a goal and then all your shit comes up. All your negative self-talk, your fear, your doubt, your yada yada, right? You know what that's like, right? It's not pretty sometimes, is it? Like, I can remember when I used to go through that, and it was like a war zone in my mind. So imagine having a big shift going on in humanity and having tens of thousands of people having their fear and doubt come up, and they think it's real. Because when it's coming up for you, don't you think it's real? Yeah, when you have like a money fear or a loneliness fear or I can't succeed at my goals fear, when that comes up, doesn't it feel like it's real? Like, don't you think, oh my God, I'm really suffering here? So imagine having tens of thousands of people, imagine having a big energy purge, whereas as people become more and more conscious, and they start reaching higher and higher and higher for higher levels of consciousness, and all of the stuff that's in their soul that's contrary to their higher level of consciousness needs to erupt and clear out, and people just going, oh my God, I think this is, I don't really, you know, the dialogue I used to have was, oh my God, I haven't shifted at all. Yeah. You know, do everything like that? Oh my God, I was through this, and now here it is back again. It's like, no, it's not bad. It's just clearing out. It's the last hoo-ha-ha, you know? It's on its way out. So when you have a lot of people around you going through that experience, what side of the equation do you want to be on? You want to be aware. You want to be a cause. So, hold that thought. So, you know, the thing is that when people start, because it's when you have large amounts of people in a negative spiral, then that becomes the predominant energy. And, you know, people will feed off of that negativity. It's called a generalization, and it's how the unconscious mind fires. It's in the meta model. It's part of the unconscious programming process. Is we have to generalize in order to sort of lump information together so we don't have so much to deal with. So for example, let's say there's a report in the media that a particular company in a certain industry is closing down. And then people start murmuring and talking and whispering defeat. Like, oh my God, this one company closed. That means that whole industry is imploding. That means the whole economy is going to hell. That means that, you know, tomorrow we can't pay for our whatever. So it just spirals out of control. You know, it's like that saying of when you gossip and you tell the story to one person, by the time it gets to the 10th person, it's not even near what the story was. Right? So the thing is that what you want to practice in your daily life is being at neutrality and above. And I'll teach you how to do that.
It was just a question. The numbers on the left, there's frequencies.
Yeah, they're just frequencies.
Megahertz.
Yeah. So through how this all came to be is there was a group of monks that went from city to city, and they prayed over their environment. And when they prayed over their environment, they actually were able to change the environment depending on the frequency of the prayer. So, yeah, so that's why prayer chains work. You know what's fascinating is there's some fellow in my database, and I don't know how I connected with him. Like, he might have been at a speech I gave or something, because I have like 10,000 people in my database. And so knowing who's in there these days is like, I have to really like look at it and pick up on the vibration and go, oh yeah, that's kind of. So anyway, he's been sending out emails, and included me in them, that said, you know, we're starting this prayer ritual at our church for rain. So this started back in the beginning of May. Wow. Mm-hmm. So the beginning of May, so I didn't go to any of them, but they were having these prayer rituals, and I don't know what they did in the ritual. I still don't know. Somebody's he's gonna film it, so because I offered to put it on social media for him. At the beginning of June, it rained, right? So then the people that were sort of skeptical, that kind of were there but kind of weren't and didn't go but wish they did, started going to his rituals, and then it like downpoured last weekend, right? So I was out running Griffith Mountain in the rain, and I thought of him. And just as I thought of him, I looked at my phone and he sent out an email, like right in that moment. Wow. I know, and I emailed him back and I'm like, seriously, like this, thank you. And I just you know, recognized the effort that he put forth. And so it's the power of the collective consciousness is what creates and what moves energy. So when you take that concept, what happened is they sent a group of monks around to different cities to do different prayers over the city. And what they saw was pollution cleared, crime went down. In Tel Aviv, the stock market went up. You know, things shifted in different cities where these monks were spending time projecting this positive, loving energy onto the city. So what they found was, in terms of numbers, when you take, say, someone that oscillates at 500, that can affect up to 250,000 people. So love, the energy of love, can affect up to 250,000 people, one person living in the space of love. One person living in the space of peace or enlightenment can affect over 500,000 people. So it just becomes exponential. So what happens is, as you raise your frequency with your thoughts, then you open the space for more of like energy experiences to come through your door. And you can apply this in your business, because after all, you are your business, right? You know, at the end of the day, whether you're selling a widget or a car or a product or a service, you are your business. So whatever energy you put on that is what comes back to you. And I've actually done experiments with clients where they were in sales and they'd make calls and they'd send emails, and I'd have them be very mindful of the energy they were putting out when they made the call and sent the email as to what came back to them. Because what we expect to have happen, happens. You know, when someone says to me, oh, I knew it wasn't going to work, I'm like, then I know what they were really projecting when they did the activity. They were projecting that it wasn't going to work. So as you go through this process, it becomes so evident that it's like you have to choose a greater thought pattern in order to get a greater result. And then be willing to be accountable to the choices you make.
That was good. Can you repeat that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe Joy, write that down. We can put that out there. So, what did I say? Oh, dear me.
You gotta choose a greater thought.
Yeah, so you need to choose a greater thought pattern when in whatever effort you're making, like a sales call, to connect with a new person, to whatever you're creating. You need to see it and feel it and, you know, embody it, and then be willing, and then have a willingness to then receive that and bring that into your environment. Effort, exercise, you know, whatever, you know, doing you're doing. And then be willing to receive back to you. Be willing to receive that which you ask for. So it's one thing to put it out there, and it's another thing to receive. So you look at the omega and the alpha, right? So this is a continuum. So being willing to receive as it circles back around is the key. Now, in all the time I've been doing this, what I've learned is that when, because everybody shifts differently, right, at different speeds. And the shifting will be determined by where they are on the emotional balance scale. So when I've worked with people that have been sort of stuck, the harder patterns, the reason they didn't see the results quicker, which comes back to Sal's question earlier today, like how much time does it take, right? Well, the amount of time it takes is determined upon where you are on the emotional balance scale. So where there's a slower turnaround is where there's shame and guilt, because those are the lowest frequencies. So apathy would be like a homeless, you know, where they're kind of apathetic, where they've just sort of given up. People that are depressed typically are in that apathetic state where they've just like given up. Grief, you know, grief is like, again, it's stagnation. If you can imagine a pool of water that doesn't have an exit and an entrance where there's fresh water coming in and the stagnant water leaving, it starts to stagnate. And then it just gets kind of like sluggish, and there's no movement, and then it goes bad, right? It rots. So that's in the lower levels where things just sort of stagnate and compound upon each other in a spiral down.
Can that be related to like grudges?
Yeah. Yeah, so resentment would be right into that like lower, like around grief, and usually resentment has guilt in it. Yeah. And so alcoholism is in the bottom, like below apathy. And yeah, big time. And I came from an alcoholic lineage. And oh my God, can I just tell you, when I started sorting this stuff out, the amount of shame I needed to clear. Because I just, you know, being, like I internalized so much stuff from people because I didn't know any better. You know, imagine you're a kid and your authority figures are stuck in that space of limitation, and they're so convinced they're right that they're like, you need to listen to me because this is the way the world is, and this is it, right? And so what do you do as a kid? You go, okay, you know better than me because you're bigger and older than me, so I accept your truth. And we all do that because it's all we know how to do. And the cool thing is now that you're here, now you know how not to parent, you know? How not to insist your child take on your belief system of pain and suffering. Isn't that so cool?
It's deep. It's really deep. I was talking to my sister a couple of weeks ago, and it's amazing how our patterns are similar, because mine is a lot different than hers, but still similar because we grew up in the same house. And my mother was a type of person. She was a wonderful woman, but she was always fearful of not having enough. And so she always, you know, we felt that and heard that, and we experienced that. So within our lifespan, we have continued that process.
So you took ownership of it.
I mean, big time. Because even my sister, the things that I know about her life, and the things I know that's going on with her, even now, it's like I see it. It's like turn the light on, and I know exactly where it came from and why. And my mother didn't know any better because her mom taught that to her. You know, it was that generational type thing. Nobody knew any better, so they went for what they knew, and they taught the same thing.
Regurgitated the information.
And it's not until you actually come to a class or and break that cycle and you see. And it's not just about breaking the cycle once. What you have to do is continually keep coming, continually keep taking that into your mind and really refocusing and repatterning. It's not a one-time thing, it's continual time. And you have to constantly fight that because it took these many years for it to get there. So you cannot think it's going to happen overnight.
That's right.
Be patient with yourself.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all quick.
Yeah,
One anecdote that I think really illustrates what you're saying.
yeah,
My wife went to a conference in her company that was their top salespeople. She's not in sales, she's an interpreter. So at one point she has lunch, a bunch of people with the top salesperson. It's like a middle-aged guy. And it's in the hotel restaurant. And my wife said, it's the weirdest thing, is the food wasn't that good. It was okay, but it wasn't great. She said, this guy, every single fork that he put in his mouth, he would chew, and he'd be like, oh wow, this is so good. And he would say, oh, this is so good. And she said, almost at the point, that seems kind of stupid, you know. And she said, then I realized, you know, he's up in, 500, 540. He sees everything with, joy, and, that's why he's the most successful salesperson in the whole organization.
that's right.
It's just how we approach it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, that is so powerful because it's raising yourself up the scale. So we call 250 neutrality 0 point. So when you get to 0 point, then all there is to do is spiral up. So initially, identifying and letting go of the patterns of shame and guilt and apathy is what's going to take the work. You understand what I'm saying? Like at first, that's what takes the work. And the more you stick with it, you raise yourself up, up, and up. And when you finally get yourself to that place of neutrality, where at the bare minimum, every day, you're in a neutral place. So there's no more sadness, there's no more fear, there's no more doubt, there's no more wondering if it's going to happen, if they're going to close the deal, if they're going to call, if they're going to show up. Getting out of that space and getting to a place of neutrality. From there, it just is like, that's when you become like a rocket. Okay? So that initial space is where the work, it's where the elbow grease goes in. It's where the work comes. And once you raise yourself above that, then that's when your business blows open. So imagine it's like a floodgate. Okay, so you are like the dam on the river. So if you're below choice point, if you're below neutrality, then you have the gates of the river closed. And I want to just say this again and again, because it has nothing to do with the economy, has nothing to do with the state of your industry, has nothing to do with how many other offices that offer what you offer. All of that is irrelevant, because based on everything I've taught you today, you will draw to you that which you emit. And there's so much, because we live in an infinite universe, that when it comes, you will have to hire people to help you process whatever it is your offering is. So it's about getting to that place. Now, you are the dam on the river. You are the gate on the river. So as you raise your emotional vibration through your thought patterns, and you get yourself to neutrality, and then you just take off like a rocket, and the business shows up. Because there's nothing out there that's deciding whether you can have a lot or not. It's your emotional balance scale that is the gate. And when you change that pattern, then holy shit, you better put on your seatbelt. Because it's going to come so fast and so amazing. You're going to be like, I need more phone lines. And that's where those higher levels of vibration come in, right? Because it's about how are you going to manage all that? You need to put systems in place. So the first thing I do when I'm working with a company is I get them on this path. Because I get them on this path, and then we can build the systems of their company and the structure to manage the inflow. So it's about raising up that vibration so that you can allow in everything that you ask for. So fear is at 100, Now let's talk a little bit about desire. So remember earlier when I said, you know, there's different frequencies that you can make money from. So desire is not the desire of, it's not a high vibrational desire, it's an egoic desire. It's the desire of, I have to have this in order for people to like me. I have to have this in order to feel good about myself. I have to have this in order to be important. I have to have this in order to be valuable. And so, what happens is, that's a lower frequency acquisition. And when you have a lower frequency acquisition, you can lose it as easily as you create it. Maybe easier. Because it's not a higher frequency acquisition. So the staying power isn't there because it's coming from an ego place. You know, how can I give an example of that? So, you step into the world of the game of, you know, my car's nicer than yours, my suit costs more than yours, my watch is, you know, yours is only a Rolex, well mine's tax-free, you know, whatever the game is. And what happens is, it's all ego. So that's fine if you want to play that game. But if you play that game, you need to be willing to eat the consequences of playing that game. So if you are willing to play that game, then when you eat the consequences of playing that game, the minute you're not able to hold that frequency, then you stand the chance of losing all that you acquired. And then what happens to your self-worth? So I used to have a high-performance sports car, and I crashed it. I had a head-on crash on the highway. Almost killed everybody. And when that happened, it was like a massive value shift for me. But the first 6 months after that crash, I was in grief. What was I grieving? What do you think I was grieving? The car. The car, because the car was my self-worth. And since I didn't have that car anymore, how could I be important? How could I drive around town and have people look up to me? What did I have? That was it. That was the extent of my self-worth. And it was, you know, sitting in the crash yard, totaled off. It wasn't even fixable. So I went through this grieving process. And when I got on the other side of the grief, then I rebuilt myself. So I rebuilt my self-worth. So whether I had the car or not was irrelevant. In fact, I became more than that car could have ever made me. So this is the difference in ego. So if you're around people that are blowing off like how cool and important and successful they are, don't play the game. Just walk away. Walk away quietly. Don't engage. You don't have to get into a pissing match with anybody. Just like go do your thing. You don't have to try to explain anything to them. I don't even engage. I was at an event the other night, and this guy, it was a mechanical contractors event, and this guy owns a pretty decent sized firm, and so he starts asking me all these questions, and my whole radar was going, oh, here we go, right? And he goes, yeah, he goes, you know, you coaches, like I've yet to find a coach that that will work for free based on the results we produce. What? And I just said to myself, all right, so he's one of those. How do I want to handle this? And I said, well, I hope it works out for you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I jetted to the other side of the room. Because there's nothing I could say. Nothing. Why would I? When there's people in the room that want to talk to me, right? So you just choose who to circle yourself with, because we become our environments. We become very much our environments. So when you look at this desire at 125, it's not coming from an authentic place of wanting to have a better life. it's coming from a place of compensating for low self-worth. It's like, I'm better than you because I have these things, right? Once you start to get into the love zone, you know, even once you start to get into acceptance, then your self-worth comes from your relationship with yourself, not what you've acquired. And the interesting thing about that, when your relationship comes from when your self-worth comes from the relationship you have with yourself, the acquisition of things becomes easy. Let me say that again. So I can tell by the looks on your faces. So once you step into that good relationship with yourself, then the acquisition of things is easy. Because there's no attachment to it either way. Because you're whole. So whether you have it or don't have it, you're still whole. Yeah.
Is it because at that point you own it?
Well, because you're whole. You're just complete. And so being complete isn't about anything external ever.
It's like you walk away from stuff, it's not benefiting you. And then you're walking away from people, even benefiting you in the way they should. You know, to walk away from my motto is there's more to store.
That's right.
There's more to
It's if in the store.
There's more to store. I mean, you get another launch, you get another dryer, you get another house, but you can't get another mind unless you actually look.
That's right. That's right. And when you're in a space of self-love, you know, because you've taken a higher responsibility for your life, you know that what you think becomes reality. So this is how I look at it. So as a single woman dating, it's not important to me how much money a guy has. And most guys, when I say that to them, don't believe me. Because most women are looking for daddy deep pockets. And so my position on that is, I make my own money. What I'm looking for is a whole other set of values. You know, there's a lot on that list, from kindness to generosity, to adventure, to fun, to being conscious. So, you know, because when you come from that place, money is never an issue. And all we have to do is get up in the morning and decide to make money and bring in money, and it'll show up. Because the other way is coming from a place of scarcity. Plus, I think it's also coming from a place of apathy, which some women do, not all, but some guys do it now too, where it's like, let me find someone else that's going to be daddy deep pockets, so I don't have to do something with my talent. It's like, how would you turn that off? Like, I can't wait to get out of bed and go do what I do. Like, I'm awake at 4 in the morning sometimes. Like, I have to make myself not get up, because I can't wait to go do my thing. Like, it's like so cool. You know?
Yeah.
It's so much fun. So that's the place to come from. So from a dating perspective, like, it's a whole other set of values. It's like, of course I don't want someone that's in scarcity, but I'm not, you know, checking out their financials. That's a given. When someone's conscious, that comes into place. So, do you understand what I'm saying to you? So you might want to reevaluate what's important to you from the inside out. Okay? So then here's another way of looking at it. So pure Tao, ultimate consciousness. So what's enlightenment? Who knows?
It's the same thing as self-actualization.
Okay.
Just like the pinnacle of consciousness.
Super conscious.
Being one main source.
Okay. Yeah.
Not very.
Yeah. What else? Yeah? Purity, right? What else? What's enlightenment?
Can it be like new, fresh, like new ideas?
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, yeah, knowledge.
Wisdom.
Fearless.
Sorry?
Fearless.
Okay, so when you're fearless, your focus is on fear. Right? So what would be the word instead?
Well, enlightenment to me is just someone that fears nothing because they're so knowledgeable.
So when you fear nothing, your focus is on fear. So it's time to reframe your language patterns. So what would be the antithesis of fear?
Greatness.
Sorry?
Greatness.
Greatness? Yeah? Good. Good. Use that word now. See, if you're focusing on whatever, you know, the unconscious mind doesn't understand a negative. So whenever you say, I'm fearless or I'm not in fear, you're actually focusing on fear. Remember earlier I said that in order to study anti-terrorism, you need to actually study terrorism. There's no anti-anything. So learn to reframe the, reframe whatever you say into the thing that you want rather than the thing you want to avoid. So being fearless is avoiding fear. And whenever you try to avoid something, you become more of the thing you try to avoid. So I used to work with this professional race car team, right? They were in the Grand Am division just before NASCAR took over Grand Am. And at the beginning and the end of every season, they would run an 8-hour race, and there was 4 drivers. And there was a lead driver, and then there was, you know, your second, and then usually your third or fourth were like a gentleman driver, and they basically like filled in the space to give the lead driver and the second person a chance to recoup and re-strategize. So in the experience of all of that, the biggest thing that I learned is in their training, professional race car drivers are taught to only focus on where they want to put the car. It's just like a ball player. You decide where you want to put the ball, and then you swing the bat to make that happen, or you throw the pitch to make that happen. If it's when you're driving a car at 200 miles an hour, if you focus on what you don't want to hit, you're going to hit it. So you have to focus on where you want to put the car. So when you see a space between the other cars, you have to focus on putting your car in that space. And that's because that's how the mind works. So with your language patterns, you need to language your language patterns in the way of where you want to put the car. So think about the race car. You're the race car, and you're putting you on the path of your life with your language. So where do you want to put you? Do you want to put you in not wanting to hit the wall or not wanting to hit another car? Or do you want to put you in the space between the cars at the front? And that's the difference. It's subtle, and it sounds like semantics, and one could even argue that it is, but it works. And that's the difference in this scale. So enlightenment, you're all right, by the way, about enlightenment. Enlightenment is where you've lightened up and let go of all of your negative programming. So enlightenment is just lightening the load on your limitations. You've let go, you've enlightened yourself and stepped into that place of knowledge that we're all one, and as a result of that, all we have to do is think of what we want and it shows up. That's it. So then, Just under enlightenment is peace and joy, so that's pure Tao. So the Tao, the Taoist practice of meditation, is focusing on what you want. Peace and joy. So if every day you just focus on joy, then everything that's in alignment with joy will begin to show up in your life. Then when we get into love and reason and acceptance and willingness, we get into flow. Now look at the bottom around shame. So from fear down, we're in suffering. From fear to neutrality, we're in getting by. So see what happens around your self-talk, because your self-talk is going to trigger these emotions. And then as you trigger these emotions, then your behavior comes off of that. And then your results come from that. Right? And then you've got on the far side, contracted and expanded. So when people are below neutrality, they're in a contracted, energetic, emotional space. So they're like, yeah. So when you think of like a recession is a contraction of suffering. And when you buy into that, then you become that. Therefore, you can say, yes, we're in a recession. Well, why are we in a recession? Because I chose to contract my energy. You can choose, when the recession hit, I chose not to engage. And I had some of the best years financially with the growth of my business. And while everybody was talking pain and suffering, I focused on offerings and talking to folks. So you can choose not to engage. And then you can continue to expand yourself. Because once you start to get above willingness and you get into acceptance, so acceptance is, I accept where I'm at this point in my life. So maybe just write down where you think you're at now, and let's do a little acceptance exercise on it, because that'll raise you up out of the lower frequencies. So go ahead and write down where you think you are now, and then we'll do an acceptance exercise on it.
What would be the best way to analyze where you're at?
Just take a look at it. You can pick any one area of your life and just go, okay, this is where I'm at in this area. Whatever that is for you. Say it again. More than one area of your life? Okay. No, you can choose them all. Why not? Why not shift them all? You're here.
One of them is the acceptance piece. That's about the other one's not. So I always try to just choose the one that's lower. That's what That's awesome.
How about you do this? How about you write down the 5, we'll pick the top 5 areas of your life, right? So let's pick career. So write down career. Leave a couple lines and then write health, and then write wealth, and then write health. Did I do health?
Yeah.
Okay, so career, health, wealth, personal relationships, and spirituality. So when I say spirituality, the stuff I've been teaching you today is spiritual awareness, like the spiritual reason behind whatever you have going on in your life. So what I want you to do is just take from this scale, bless you, and write down where you think you are in each area of your life. Do you know the exercise? The top 5 areas of your life. So health, you want to write this down. So health, wealth, career, personal relationships, and spirituality. And then choose from the chart where you're at in each area. Okay, Sandra, give me your 5.
Career-wise, I'm 12.
What number did you give it?
We're supposed to get a number.
Yeah, based on the chart. I'll give you a bit to do that. Did everybody pick a number? Go back and do the number.
Unless you or the
Word, doesn't matter, number, word, it's up to you. But, you know, take it from here. You ready, Christian? Okay, go.
So, career, Joy, 540. Career-wise, I think that what I've done with my business, it's a lot. You know, it's in wealth or money-wise, not so big, but what we've done is, it's big. I mean, I feel very comfortable, I feel good about it.
Okay.
On health, I still don't have any peace. It's 600. And since the last 5-6 months, I've started exercise, eating much better, doing healthier things. That's in my body in better shape.
Yeah.
So I feel like health basics. Feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Personal relationships, also peace, 600.
Yeah.
I have a wonderful relationship with my son and my wife.
Yeah.
Just the most important things as my family. And then obviously with my mom, with my dad, also I passed like 10 years without talking with my dad. And recently started talking to him, so I feel like I'm at peace.
Yeah.
And spirituality, love, 500. I feel good about it. Spiritual. I think now with this, it's gonna make me even feel higher.
Yeah.
Oh, wealth. I'm trying to think of wealth. Good anger. No, pride. I'm sorry. 175. It's something that has been bothering me and stuck there. It's not where I want to be.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
That's good. I would say on your business, it sounds to me more like acceptance than joy. Yeah. Because you've accepted, right? And now as the wealth comes in, that will keep raising the bar higher. Yeah. Because everything, we want to bring things into alignment and congruency. Yeah. Yeah.
Career-wise, these are the 3 things I wrote: acceptance, willingness, and also pride.
On career? Okay.
And the reason why I selected pride is because I don't know if you want, but now I take a lot of pride in what I do.
That's a different pride. So pride up here is more about, I'm too prideful to admit that I need to learn more.
I mean, of course, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
But more than anything,
So career is
acceptance.
it more of what? Courage, you said?
No, acceptance, willingness.
Yeah.
But more than anything, it's acceptance and the willingness that I have to grow.
To grow.
Health, acceptance, and also courage. Because it takes a lot of courage to exercise. So I exercise.
Okay.
Not as often as I want to, but that's going to change.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, wealth, it's within reason. And the reason why is that is because I'm not fully satisfied.
What's reason?
400.
400. Okay. Yeah.
Personal relationships, love, joy, and spirituality, and peace.
Good. Love it. Nice. Good job. Sal.
Career, 500. Health is 650. And wealth is 450. Personal relationship, 525.
Graded is on scale. It's okay. Your scale.
That's my scale. Spirituality, 400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Spiritual, like at 700. Personal relationships, 600. Career, love, 500. Wealth, I put between love and reason, so love. And health, 310. Willingness.
Okay, I think you guys are a little generous with your marking, but that's fine. So carry on.
Okay, those are my 5.
All right, Martin.
In my career, I put acceptance and willingness, 350, 310, health, I put courage, 200, well, I put courage, 200, personal relationships, 125, desire, and spirituality, I put willingness, 310.
Okay, that's good. I think Martin's more realistic, honest with himself. Yeah,
But if that's how we feel,
that's what you're telling yourself. That's how you feel. If you have all the money, if all your needs are covered and all your wants are fulfilled monetarily, and you have money left over to give away, then you would be in the 500 to 700 range.
for wealth,
Yeah.
I don't have all the money. I don't. But with what I have, it's enough. If I make more, then that would be awesome.
So that's more along the range of neutrality.
So is that saying that money is an object then? So money, you can only if you have a lot of money, then you can be at the top.
No, only if you have what you want.
But I think I do have one. I have just enough to be at peace and with comfortable. I don't need more. If I make more, then I wanna donate to the less fortunate. That's what I want to do with my money if I make more.
Okay, cool. And it doesn't matter what you want to do with it, just as long as you're able to do what you want to do with it. So if there's things that you want that you can't have because you don't have the money for it, then you're not in that higher vibration.
So it's important to know what you want to do with
Yeah.
the excess.
Yeah. Otherwise, there'll be no point in attracting it. So it's almost like maybe even some apathy around money.
So then what you're saying is that I am comfortable with the money that I make, but
Yeah.
I do desire to make more money because what I want to do with it is donate it.
And help
So then
others.
that means I am down here because I really want to be up here, so I donate it.
Yeah, very good, yeah. And it's good to have that clarity. So, yeah, there's probably some apathy in there, like around 50 on that, and even some neutrality. So you need to balance that out, because if you were able to do things with money to help others, then yeah, I would say you're definitely in that vibration. So it's what you aspire to do. So then the question is, what are you doing about it? Yeah, and if you're not doing anything about it, but yet you would like to, then there's the apathy. When we become apathetic, we don't do
It's
what we
funny
want to do.
because on the things that I would like to do or achieve, it's also being able to give back.
Yeah.
To family and community.
Yeah, and if you're not able to do that, there's no reason that you can't, because money's infinite. So on some level, you're not stepping up to yourself, or you're doing it.
So that'd be like setting those standards. for yourself.
Perhaps, yeah. Absolutely. Set their standards, yeah. That's one way of doing it. Because remember, the behavior is what produces the results, but the behavior comes from the thought pattern. So it's about creating the thought pattern that then inspires the emotional program, that inspires the behavior that produces results. So maybe it's setting a new standard of thinking and feeling, which will create new patterns of behavior, new structure to your life. If I can give you another example, it's like exercise. You know, when we so like for me, like I'm relentless about my workouts. Like I don't get my workouts out from anything. If I take it out to do an activity, I put it in somewhere else in my schedule. And so that's a structure that I gave my life because it produced a particular outcome that I desired. And so you can take that as an example and you can apply it to anything. Love, money, your spiritual growth, anything, relationships. So it's about giving it that attention. It's attention. It's where our attention goes, energy flows. Yeah. It's really that simple. Yeah. Joe.
For career, I would say courage. Going towards my passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Health, I would say love. I'm making healthier, more conscious choices. I am making, well, I have. For wealth, I would say desire.
Good.
To make more.
Yeah. And I'd say too on your health, there's a willingness in there. So you're willing to do the work to bring your health into alignment. Yeah.
Personal relationships, I'd say I work on that more with my closest people.
Okay.
But I've built relationships, great relationships with, coworkers, everyone in town. I feel it's not.
Types of people. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good for you. Total honesty. Yeah.
Spirituality, I would say reason.
Okay. Good. Awesome.
Career, I'd say acceptance, about half, I guess, of things. Health was reason, acceptance. Also, why I did it. Well, this willingness, personal relationships, reason, love, 4,500, spirituality, love, joy, 535.
Yeah. So say those numbers to me again.
Starting from
The top.
career, acceptance.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Health, more so reason, because I can come above the choice point. But I know that there's definitely a lot of ones to improve. I'd say eating habits, exercising more, sleeping earlier, getting up earlier. Well, definitely have big, hairy, audacious goals.
Yeah.
And have the willingness to strive and stretch.
Okay.
Personal relationships, I'd say reason reaching towards love.
Yeah.
Spirituality, love, reaching towards joy.
Good. I like it. Sal.
Okay, career, I have courage and 200. Personal relationships, I have willingness and 310. Health, I have peace at 600. Spirituality, I have peace at 600. And love, I have anger at 150.
Good for you to be honest like that. Remember, you've got to know where you're starting from in order to excel. So if you fudge on where your starting point is, then the acceleration won't be as clear or as rapid.
Career, I said willingness and reasons. Health, I have a bunch of willingness, acceptance, neutrality, courage. Somewhere in there. Wealth, fear, desire. Personal relationships, love, willingness, peace. Spirituality is a little weird. On one hand, I have willingness, reason, and love, but on the other hand, grief and I feel like that can come possibly. Depends. You're talking about that pure spirituality, or where you're worried about wealth or other things seeps into spirituality.
Absolutely. Wow, what a powerful thing to say and an amazing observation. So when you go into fear or doubt or worry, then you actually, it seeps into, it takes a bite out of your spiritual alignment. It's very insightful. So if you find yourself worrying and or resisting, so if you have any resistance going on in any area of your life, then you need to really look at the pride part. Because where there's resistance, there's usually fear and pride. You got that? Very good. So fear and pride will show up as worry and doubt. You find yourself doubting. So very good. Awesome. Joanne.
Well, for career, I put willingness, work hard in school, study hard. And I also put love, because I like getting an A and I love meeting people and gaining knowledge. For health, I put neutrality, just because I'm just not satisfied with my body. I don't drink enough water, I don't exercise enough as I should. Wealth, I put anger, fear, and grief.
Wow. Good for you.
And just because I just feel stuck with where I'm at on that subject. And then also for personal relationships, I put grief and shame. And for spirituality, I put fear.
Yeah. Wow. So, then doing the exercise of aligning with source, like I would say twice a day minimum, for all of you really. First thing in the morning and last thing at night. Sometimes I do it hourly. Yeah. Alignment with source.
Prayer, meditation.
Well, the exercise I ran you through in the beginning, where I had you go take your energy and push it out past the edge of the planet until you connect with the light. That's it. You can just do that. Yeah.
What are the different ways?
Just what I taught you today. I did two with you. One is where you just push your energy out past the edge of the planet until you connect with the light. And the other one was running the liquid gold. Either is really powerful. Yeah. Awesome. Next.
Career at the 350.
Yeah.
That's for now. Won't improve that, of course. Health 600. I'm at peace with that. Wealth, I put 250, but I'm gonna be a little bit higher because time is not getting by.
Okay.
Personal relationship 500 love. And spirituality 250 is kind of neutral. I think from this experience I can get a lot better from this.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So aligning with the higher frequencies on a consistent basis. Jennifer.
Okay, for career, I put joy, willingness, and courage. Because I enjoy building this journey that I'm on, building this career, and I have the willingness to do it and the courage. For health, I have guilt because I beat cancer, and I quit smoking, and I'm supposed to be taking care of myself, so I'm still in the stagnant 5-year stage. And I picked up smoking again months ago, so I'm really feeling guilty about that. But I have the desire and willingness to get back on track and put that to rest and take care of myself. So wealth, I put courage, I put desire, courage, and willingness. For Personal relationships, I have fear. I have willingness to make better or create better personal relationships for myself and eliminate all the negative relationships that I've had in my life. And I love them, but I do have a lot of love with the relationships that I do have that are close to me. As far as spirituality, I put joy.
Oh, good. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jessica.
For career, I started with 350 to 400 acceptance and reason. Health, 125 desire, and then I also wrote down 310 for willingness to be healthier, take the necessary steps to be healthy. Wealth, on one end I put fear, 100. The other end I put 310 willingness and 400 reason.
Good.
Personal relationships, 350 acceptance, range to 500 love. So it's from acceptance, reason, love, within that range. Spirituality, 350 acceptance to 400 reason.
Very good. It's very good.
Career, I'm at 350 at acceptance. Health-wise, I'm at 150 anchored myself. Wealth, I'm at 350 acceptance. Personal relationship, I'm at 500 love. Spirituality, I'm at 600 peace.
Good. Good. So here's the deal. Wherever you are, because this is an algorithmic scale. You all know what algorithms, right? Yeah. So if you look at the computer has algorithms, and they're made up of a series of zeros and ones. So the algorithm that a computer is fashioned after is really the algorithm of our unconscious mind. So our unconscious mind, our programming and conditioning, is a series of zeros and ones. So depending on the formation of the algorithm will determine the vibrational rate. So this is just an algorithmic scale. So it's the algorithm vibrates at a higher and higher frequency the more up the scale you go. And so these algorithms align with the algorithm of your unconscious. So as you shift yourself and release your limiting beliefs, then you allow more space in your algorithm for a higher vibrational algorithm to take over.
Like replace it, in essence, replace that fear with
love.
Love. Yeah.
Always.
So you would say that you would have to identify what the belief is in order to be able to.
Yeah. Because what we can't acknowledge, we can't change. That's where the word denial. So would you like to know more?
Yes.
So we're going to wrap up the day. I want to share with you that this is basically your capacity. I mean, this is the galaxies. This is beyond the universe. Yeah. Kind of puts it into perspective. So what we want to shoot for is to get to a space of love on all and every area of our lives. So wherever you've identified those lower frequencies, then it's a process of just looking at those lower frequencies and asking, like, what is the limiting belief or the judgment that I've been holding on to that's caused this lower frequency? And then you go out to connect to source and you replace it with love. So in terms of training, Well, let me say this to you. So our pituitary, our pineal, and our hippocampus are glands that are in the brain. And through negative thinking and negative lifestyle, they become calcified. So basically, it's like if you've ever seen a battery connection where it becomes acidic and the acid crust builds up on the connection, on the post, on the negative and positive post. That's basically what happens to your glands in your brain with negative thinking and negative lifestyle habits. And the best and most powerful way to decalcify, because if you don't decalcify them, then the circuitry can't fire. You know, it's just like a bad connection in your battery, like your car has a hard time turning over. So you've got to keep those posts on your battery clear so that this, you know, it's just like the spark can fire, right? So that's how your brain circuitry works. You've got to keep it decalcified through positive thinking and positive lifestyle. When you do that, then you're able to bring in the higher frequencies. But unless you keep them decalcified, they basically slow down the firing. And this is where the memory loss comes. This is where the lack of attention comes in. This is where, you know, dementia and all this stuff shows up. It comes from limiting yourself in terms of your pattern of thinking and being and doing over years of process that actually creates a lack of the electricity flow through the brain. Okay? So you need to, this is like Sally was saying earlier, this is a lifestyle, right? It's not something you do one time, it's something that you do until you're in total enlightenment. Like you keep going until your vibration is so high that when you wake up in the morning and you decide you want something, it just comes across your path. And you don't have to like effort at it. It just like shows up. Like you'll get up in the morning and you'll say, I want to have this experience today, and the experience will show up. Someone will call you, or you'll go out to grab a coffee and someone will offer it to you, or that'll be just like sitting on the street waiting for you to decide to embrace it. And we have that capacity if we choose to be at that level. So it's a process. And as part of that process, you unwind your programming and you replace it with the higher vibrational thoughts. So because, so whatever follows the because, just like I said before, whatever follows the I am is what you become. Whatever follows the because is what you block. So I can't have X because, you know, justification, justification, justification. So whatever comes after your because is a window into your judgments. It's a window into your limiting beliefs. So I can't have, be, or do because I don't have enough money for that. Because. So you're limiting yourself from having the money for it by stating, I can't have it because, and then you justify. So you have to change your thought patterns and change your language patterns so that there's nothing after because.
What's the expression? Be,
Do, have.
and what's the other one? That is have.
Do, have, be.
Yeah, it's like the opposite.
It's the opposite,
Yeah.
yeah. So one is the ego, I'm gonna have it and then I'll be it. And the other is the spirit, I be it, and as a result I have it. Be, do, have. So the reason your life isn't the way you want it is because you haven't decided to make it so. So remember, choice always overrules observation. Or you haven't gone to source and cleared the limiting beliefs and judgments. The judgments that you bought, sold, accepted, aligned with, and resisted from childhood. So somewhere between 0 and 7, you accepted other people's reality and then you lived it out as an adult. So when you choose your greatness, then it reveals your old program to be released. So remember that process. So here's the NLP training that's coming up in September. So you can come for the training and I'll certify you in NLP and I'll teach you all of these tools to use in every area of your life, forever. So here's the pricing. So the regular is $49.95. And we go through this process of increasing the price on it as the training gets closer because we want to reward people that sign up in advance. So when you register now, it's $35.95. Now, last month, I made this offer, which gave you an opportunity to save $1,000. So this month, you get to save $1,400. Now, what I did last month is I said, okay, so you can have all your mind masteries free for the rest of the year. So this month, what I'm saying to you is I'll up the ante on that, and you get to have the video program of the training. So not only do you get the live training, but you get we're gonna videotape it, so you'll get the video of the training. So for you guys, there's some of you in the room that signed up last month. So I'll honor that and I'll give you the video training. Yeah, because you guys deserve that because you jumped on it early on. And then we also have a new meditation CD. The meditations I ran through today with you. So we'll put those onto audio and onto an MP3 so you can listen to them every day as many times as you want to. So I'm going to hand out some registration forms. You just have to change the date on here because these are last year's forms. So at the top, just put September. You're already a practitioner, aren't you? Yeah. How much you want this? So at the top where it says October, just put September 9th to 17th. September 9th to 17th. So what you get from the class is you get 4 certifications. So you get certified in NLP as a practitioner. You get certified in clinical hypnosis. You get certified in timeline therapy. 9 to 17, yeah. And classes are from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you can work in the morning and then come to class. And then you also get certified as a coach. So you can start coaching other people if you want to and create some income off of that. And we need more coaches in the world. So there's always room for that. So then at the bottom, I want you to go ahead and where it says $45.95, just stroke that out and put $35. And then you can write on there the video program and the new meditation CD. And you can do payments. So let me know what you can put down and how you need to break it up over a few months, and we can do payments. So you can just see Julia with that before you leave to get this pricing today, because the pricing is going up to $54.95. All right, so should we just do one more closing exercise? Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to just step right into the center of your skull. Just step right into the center of your skull. And just visualize that white light going down from the top of your head. And the purple light entering your third eye. And just go and sit right in the center of your skull. And in this place, just connect to the light. Feel that wave of peace come over you. And in this space, I want you to thank yourself for coming here today. Acknowledge yourself for making the effort, making the time, making the space in your life to be here regardless how many other things your ego said was pulling at you. And just congratulate yourself for really stepping forward and reaching higher. And just tell yourself, I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful to be me. Just me. I am enough. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that you guys are all here with me all day. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that without even looking at the clock, I ended right on time. Divinely guided. And I'm so grateful and thankful